Hello again, and thanks very much for joining us on Business Now. I am Michael Nars. The federal government plans to issue new green bonds in 2023 as the government explores widely diversified alternative funding sources to finance its 10.78 trillion naira budget deficit. The Debt Management Office has indicated that new green bond will be issued in 2023. The planned green bond issue in 2023 comes nearly 4 years after the government issued its last green bond. Director General Debt Management Office Patience Oniha said green bond issuance was part of the government's debt strategy in 2023, although major details such as size and time have not been concluded. She noted that the government had raised 25.59 billion naira through similar green bonds between December 2017 and June 2019 to fund 7 projects, including renewable energy, afforestation, agriculture, water, and transportation. The Director General of the Debt Management Office, Patience Oniha, has stressed the need for Nigeria to operate an efficient tax administration to tackle revenue challenges. Oniha said this at the 2022 Capital Market Correspondents Association of Nigeria. As she said that the country needs to operate an efficient tax administration that would ensure greater compliance to remittances, devoid of all forms of evasions in the system. Oniha said, quote, that revenue challenge remains one of the most critical policy issues of the federal government, which is currently threatening nation's debt sustainability. She stressed the need for the country to urgently moderate its new borrowings and ensure that public debt is sustainable by accelerating its revenue base to shore up non-oil revenue and rationalizing expenditure. The issuance industry pushed back on economic recessions and the effects of the global COVID-19 pandemic, recording market expansion in 2020 during the pandemic when the real GDP contracted by minus 1.9%, as was the case with most economies around the world. It recorded a consistent expansion over the period despite market cyclical record in the capital market, especially during the global COVID-19 pandemic. Consequently, the industry recorded an expansion to about 2.3 trillion naira in assets at the end of the half-year 2022, growing at a size of 12.0% year-on-year. The assets under the contributory pension scheme returned to a growth path to gain 164 billion naira in October after incurring a loss of almost 2 billion naira in September. This was contained in the National Pension Commission's latest monthly report titled UNAUDITED, a report on pension funds industry portfolio for the period ended 31 October 2022. According to a report, the assets rose to 14.59 trillion naira in October from 14.424 trillion naira and 14.426 trillion naira as of the end of August. The figure showed that 9.23 trillion naira of the funds was invested in federal government securities, 1.53 trillion naira in corporate debt securities, 2.17 trillion naira in money market instruments, and 65.68 billion naira in mutual funds. Profits earned from the investment of pension funds are required to lift the balances in the workers' retirement savings accounts. The number of active telecommunications subscribers hit 214.35 million in October, according to new industry statistics from the Nigerian Communications Commission. This is the highest number of recorded telecom subscribers in the nation since the total number of subscribers peaked at 207.58 million in October 2020, months before the SIM-NIN linkage. On what has driven subscriber growth in 2022, telcos disclosed that more subscribers were getting new SIMs in a bid to circumvent restrictions on SIMs and that had not been linked with their national identification numbers. The consistent growth witnessed in the number of telecom subscribers in 2022 aligns with GSMA's growth prediction for the industry. According to the Global Industries Association, Nigeria has a sizable number of its population under the age of 18, indicating that its subscriber growth would remain strong for the foreseeable future as more young consumers crossed into adulthood and subscribed to mobile services. Now, the planned national card scheme will help Nigeria attain its financial inclusion plans. This coming as the Central Bank of Nigeria and Nigeria Interbank Settlement System plan to roll out a single payment system in January 2023. Speaking on IBrandTV's Business Breakfast on Monday, finance analyst Mukhtar Mohammed noted that the scheme will help serve the underbanked.
In terms of inclusion, because we have in some areas, especially the rural area, where you have a particular bank and you don't have a particular bank. So what it means for them is help them in financial inclusion. Which if you with one card, I can go into any banking ATM and do my transaction. That means they don't have to wait for their own bank to be in that locality to go, and then they don't have to pay charges like the CBN said in that, especially in card transaction. So that also could be an added advantage for those that are in the rural area. And what I'm saying, I don't think the impact will be very much on the bank. Remember that they have their way of sharing in terms of profit sharing, or what I call it profit sharing, or sharing in terms of when you need transaction. There's a particular amount that goes to the bank you are transacting to. Either they withdraw 15 naira from you and it will stop. I don't think that will stop. What will happen is that now you go to one particular bank, you have one ATM, you pay for it. You go to another bank, you have one ATM, you pay for it. So you have only just have to pay for one ATM, and that card you can use it in any of the banks. So their transaction will still be there, but I agree with you that the cost in terms of what they make in terms of issuing of ATM, which is sometimes card maintenance fee will come down. That will be the advantage to the customer, but to the bank, that also will reduce in terms of profit.
The Securities and Exchange Commission has said the development of a liquid government bonds market would have a positive effect on the economy. Director General of SEC, Lamido Yuguda, said this during the annual conference of the Capital Market Correspondents Association of Nigeria in Lagos. According to Yuguda, this is because a liquid government bond market implies that there is sufficient offering of government bonds across a range of maturities, which is in turn key to the construction of the benchmark yield curve, which is important for the establishment of the market-based risk-free interest rate used in equity pricing. Represented by the Executive Commissioner, Operations of SEC, Dayo Obiso, Yuguda said there's a synergistic relationship between the government bond and equity markets has been observed in several East Asian economies, which experienced a surge in private investment and equity market capitalization following the establishment of a liquid debt securities market. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria has dissociated itself from the current scarcity of the premium notospiritus, also known as petrol, which is ravaging the country. IPMAN, in a statement signed by Ogun State Chairman Mosinmi Adepo Femi Adelaja on Sunday, attributed the current scarcity of petrol in Ogun State to the federal government and the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation's failure to make the products available for its members at affordable prices. Adelaja, however, advised the federal government to remove the subsidy on petrol and ensure total deregulation of the sector, while dedicating each of the NNPC dippers for the service of the IPMAN members in each of the states, including Kwara. Meanwhile, oil marketers have said the claim by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority that the NNPCL had petrol stock that would last for 34 days was untrue. Now, 6 power transmission towers belonging to the Niger Delta Power Holding Company have been destroyed by vandals in Rivers State, while a member of a vigilante group in the affected area was shot dead by the miscreants, the NNPC announced on Sunday. It said the unrelenting attacks on power infrastructure by economic saboteurs, leading to the inability of Nigerians to access adequate electricity for economic growth, had continued unabated. It said the vandals cut down 4 transmission towers, dismantled and carted them away, adding that on October 10, 2022, the miscreants attacked and vandalized 2 additional towers on the same 330 kV-DC Afam-One transmission line. It added during routine routine patrol on the night of November 24 or 25, 2022, vigilantes again encountered vandals along the same Afam-One 330 kV-DC transmission line. Still to come, global central banks extend rate hike push in November. Details of this and more after this commercial break. Stay with us.